Greetings and good evening, and welcome to the RoundTable. Today is January the 9th, 2024, Tuesday, January the 9th, 2024. Bonsoir, comment ça va? My name is Drew, and I'm one of the two co-hosts of the most fire, or second most fire podcast in 2024, coming in behind Club Shay Shay, apparently. And here we are, ladies and gentlemen. We have finally come to the end of the 2023 regular season for the National Football League, and we have transitioned into the 2023 playoffs. Well, guess what? 14 teams are in, 16 or 18 teams are out. Those 14 teams, some of them are roaring into the playoffs. Some of them are backing in and probably are going to be done as soon as the first half concludes of the wild card weekend. And guess what we get to do tonight? We get to talk about that. But before we do, we get to recap last night's national championship game between the number 1 ranked Michigan Wolverines and the number 2 ranked Washington Huskies. Did it turn out the way that we think that it did? We shall see. But before we do that, I got to introduce my co-host for every single ride we take on the RoundTable. Brother Griff, how we doing? I see you are back home in the confines of the dungeon. What's up, man?
I am back, man. I don't have to worry about Troy talking about a ladder behind me no more. I'm doing pretty good, man. Winning try acupuncture, man. Believe it or not, acupuncture got my back feeling pretty good, bro. For those that have back problems or any pain problems, go try some acupuncture. But I am glad to be back home. Love my family, but ain't nothing like being back home.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Of the entire RoundTable audience and the Michigan Wolverines, who apparently won the national championship last night. We're all happy that you're back home and feeling better. So let's get into it, man. The last night's game between the number 1 ranked Michigan Wolverines taking on the number 2 ranked Washington Huskies. Everybody was talking about how Washington had a shot. They had a legitimate shot because they had the number 1 ranked scoring offense in college football this year. I don't know how that was possible since LSU had the number 1 ranked scoring offense in football this year. But you know how numbers get adjusted. We know how numbers get adjusted, and I'm not mad at that. But we said offense wins games, but defense wins championships. Did Michigan win that, or did Washington mail it in and the moment was too big for them?
No, I don't think the moment was too big for them. I just think they haven't played against a defense of Michigan caliber. And I said it before the game. I said the difference in this game was going to be the defense. And not taking nothing away from Penix. Penix is a good player, man, but Michigan did the same thing to Penix that they did basically everybody all season, to include Alabama, Ohio State, Penn State. They was able to get the pressure on the quarterback. What shocked me, though, man, was their ability to get out there and run the way that they did off the grip. But what also shocked me was how they almost gave it up because they tried to get cute and they allowed Washington to get back into the fold. It's one thing to turn the faucets on and then try to turn them off and then try to turn them on again. If it was me, them faucets would have, man, them jokers was averaging over 20, almost 20 yards a carry, man. That's crazy. Edwards got out there 2 carries, 2 touchdowns for 86 yards. Come on now.
Yes, sir.
Why throw the ball?
Yeah, Donovan Edwards definitely made a statement that I am back, right? Forget what you heard. I am definitely back. And you talked about Michigan's ease to run the ball. After that very first drive, and they saw how easy it was for them to be able to go point for point, if necessary, with Washington before their defense even took the field. They knew that they were going to win this game. And you say that they gave Washington an opportunity to get back in the game. I think Michigan believed that they were in total control of this game from the very first snap on offense, and how dominant they were, as you mentioned, on during the run game. The defense was playing the bend but don't break type of approach after they showed that they had what it takes to shut Washington down. That high-powered offense wasn't clicking last night. Michael Penix Jr. wasn't connecting with his receivers like he was in the Texas game and how he had been throughout the regular season, right? That pressure was coming up the middle, and it was in his face in the matter of a second and a half. So he didn't have enough reaction time. So Michigan simply was a better team. Michigan simply was a better
that whole second half hurt, bro. I mean, I know at least that fourth quarter he was done. By fourth quarter, man, he was abused, man. And I mean, they beat the brakes off of him, man. He ain't seen that, he had that type of pressure all season. And as they say, you know, like we say all the time, defense win games, bro. And that was the X factor last night. Well, it wasn't an X factor. That's what happened.
Right. You know, and that was the exact reason why I was not confident in Penix's escapability abilities. Right. He hasn't shown it all year, and he showed a little bit during the Texas game, and it gave people that false sense of security that he could maneuver in and out of the pocket when it is real tight. If you have that escapability, a la Jaden Daniels, then yes, or a la Caleb Williams from USC, you can do that or run that type of offense. But Penix is not that type of quarterback. He is more of a mobile in the pocket, drop back type of quarterback. And when you apply pressure of the middle, as Michigan did, he doesn't have the wheels to go left or right, man. And he started taking too many body shots and body blows. And as you said, by halftime, he was cooked, right? And he did all he could to keep Washington in the game in the second half, but the better team won.
This is what I want to say. Before we move on, this is what I want to say, though, because the other piece was I said the key to Washington winning, they had to establish a running game. Unfortunately, their running back came in there broke. And then he got hurt even more in the game because he twisted his ankle. So I do want to give a big shout out to that young man, because that young man, even though he was hurt, he stayed in there. But that's when sometimes I think coaches, I know it's the game, it's a championship, it's the last game of the season, but with Penix and with that guy, man, there's money on the line, and they still let them guys get out there. And that's why I feel like they weren't thinking about that kid's future, man, because I don't know if you see how his ankle, and he was still out there. And I know it, you can shoot him up, you can tape him up, but at some point, you telling me that you don't have another 4 or 5-star running back over there that can come in, because they do. And so that was the thing that hurt them too. The running back went, because Washington ain't just a passing team; they can run the ball. Johnson he had over 1,000 yards rushing this season, so he was a runner. But you know, they tried to lean on him too much, man, and both of them kids was hurt.
Yeah. So with all of that, it was a phenomenal game. Those were the two best teams in the country this year. They both earned their way into the college football playoffs. They earned their way into the final game. So first and foremost, congratulations to the Michigan Wolverines and their entire Go Blue fan base, and to Jim Harbaugh finally getting that national championship. Whether or not he stays at Michigan, time will tell. He obviously has a lot of lucrative offers probably waiting on him, since the age of the firing of coaches in the NFL has begun since the regular season ended on Sunday night. So congratulations to them first. Second, congratulations to the Washington Huskies. They won the final Pac-12 championship game that was going to ever be played. So they had a phenomenal season, 13-0 or 14-0 prior to the loss on Monday night. Their Heisman candidate quarterback came in second. Phenomenal year. Is obviously going to be playing on Sunday, so congratulations to them. Before we move on to the NFL, let's take a minute or two to kind of close out and put a bow on the 2023 NCAA college football season. Was it a season that was exciting for you? Was it a season that, minus the disappointment of your team not making it to the final game, Was it a season that was filled with surprises? How do you see the 2024 and beyond seasons happening because of the transfer portal? Sir.
Yeah. First of all, man, college football every year is going to be a good season for me, regardless of how my team pans out. Yes, my team didn't make it to that final game, but they definitely made it farther than most real football fans would have predicted either, based off what we've seen earlier in the season. The landscape of college football is completely going to be different, and people just might as well go and get with it, because the change is already in the process. You see a whole bunch of people that jumped into the transfer portal. All I can speak is on my team. Most of the people that jump in the transfer portal, man, it ain't no love lost, because I hope they go somewhere and they can do what they got to do. But most of them weren't starters anyway. Most of the people that I done seen jump in the transfer portal, they might not be starting where they getting ready to go. I'm looking forward to seeing what next year got to look like, because next year is going to have we're going to have 12 teams in the playoff. Next year, these conferences is going to be bigger. So you know what? We don't have to wait till the end of the season to see an Ohio State and a Washington play, because they're in the same conference. You might get a chance to see these jokers play 2 or 3 times. So to Mr. Daniel Stein, I see you out there. Go Blue. I'm a man of my word. Your team won. So I seen it pop up on the screen, and welcome to the show tonight. But man, it wasn't a disappointment, man. It's what college football always does. We had some drama, and with Harbaugh throughout the season, which I think that just gave them energy. And then the FSU not getting into the college. We had it. We had everything that you would want to see in college football.
Yes, sir. I agree 100%. So much to take in about where 2023 has left us as we head into 2024, with all of the changes that you mentioned, with the conference realignment, the big Power 5 conferences dwindling down to a big Power 4 conference, going from 4 playoff teams to 12 playoff teams, which is definitely going to make it interesting, because it's going to be the 12 best teams in the country. Conference be damned, right? Because it's going to be based off of what you do on the field, based on the performance that you put in, on who you play, because now we are forced to play actually quality teams, or actual quality teams. And I am excited to see that. The transfer portal, it is what it is, right? College football has always been a billion-dollar business, and now it is just that you are now forced to pay your employees, and your employees are unionized in such a way to where they can say that I do not like working for this prime time Power 5 conference university, where I am the starting quarterback, the biggest popularized position on the team, and I don't like how I am being treated. Therefore, I'm going to exit stage left. It says a lot about a lot of different things. We shall see how that plays out. But for the 2023 season, man, this was a season filled with excitement. I would be remiss if I would not give the Georgia Bulldogs their just due. 2-time defending national champs, most likely should have been in this year's playoff. Lost 1 game in the last 3 years. I still believe if they were playing last night against either one of those 2 teams, I would probably pick Georgia to win. A toss-up between them and Michigan, maybe, but definitely favored in the Washington matchup. So this year was just an introduction as to how the transfer portal is going to shake up these Power 5 conferences. We said it all year. The SEC was not the normal SEC, even though we sat at the top of the polls all year and had a team in the Final Four. You are getting ready to see the Wild Wild West in the college football next year. I'm telling you, and I'm looking forward to it, man. So hats off to the 2023 season, as they say. Just like that, the 2023 season has come to an end. Let's get back to the money that pays. The NFL. Let's see what we got that took us from 23 teams having mathematical opportunities to make it to the playoffs to where we are now with 14 teams locked in. Let's focus on where we sit in the AFC, man. What surprised you in the AFC?
The Browns, to be honest, the Browns and the Steelers. The Texans, for me, showed me throughout the year that they could be here, but I truly was not expecting, and based off all our conversation we had, I was not expecting the Browns and the Steelers to be here. With the loss of Deshaun Watson, they had a quarterback carousel. They lost Chubbs. Steelers, the same thing. They had a quarterback carousel. They had a whole bunch of people getting hurt. Just wasn't expecting them to be there. I actually wasn't expecting the Dolphins to be down here. And then it's two teams that we thought was going to be here that ain't here, and that's the Bengals and the Jaguars. I was shocked not to see them on this list.
You are 1,000% correct. And as they say, if we was playing cards, I will see your Browns and Browns and Steelers and give you the Eagles. I will give you the Eagles and the Packers, but more so the Eagles, going from one of the top two teams in the NFL at week 12. At week 12, they were sitting at 10-1. They are barely in the playoffs now. They've gone from the king of the hill to just sitting at the bottom of the barrel. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. Man, I do not know why they are favored against a Tampa Bay team a Tampa Bay team who stole 9 victories this year. That is a huge shocker for me. The Packers, I thought they were in rebuild mode, man. They snuck into the playoffs because I'm still mad about that Saints 17-0 lead they had in Green Bay and ended up losing the game 18-17.
Boy, you know what, man? You always figure out a way to get your boys in. You got Jalen Daniels in here today. Now you brought the Saints in. Look, man.
All right, man. Let's get to these games, man. My apologies.
I want to say this right fast before we move forward, though. You talk about the Eagles, but not only was they 10-1, but they also, and we was talking about mathematically, they had the easiest 5-game stretch left in the NFL, and they lost the Jokers.
That right there is what you call a cherry on top. That's the icing. They had the easiest schedule, and they found a way to blow that. But yes, let's talk about why we have these 14 teams in the playoffs this year. And we said it on Friday night. The game of the weekend was going to be the final game of the year. The Buffalo Bills traveling down to Miami to take on the 305. And before Sunday, there was a chance that Buffalo couldn't even miss the playoffs altogether before any game on Sunday was played. You know, if things played out the way that they could have. But before the game, they knew, and the Steelers knew, since the Jaguars wanted to mail in and go fishing early in January, their playoff hopes that they were going to be locked in. So they were playing for the division title and the number 2 seed. I thought Miami had enough because I was going to feed Tyreek in every way possible to do what it takes to win at home. How did Buffalo win this game, man?
Hey, man, turnovers and pressure. Mm-hmm. I mean, to be honest, man, they didn't do much up until the end of the game. They got a punt return that helped them out, and they got 2 interceptions. It just Miami, for whatever reason, man, as good as a team at Miami is, they don't know how to seal the deal, man. They showed that earlier against the Titans. You know, I think, me personally, I think it's that daggone Hard Knocks jinx, man. I don't believe, and I was talking to somebody about this earlier, they should not be filming Hard Knocks during the season, bro. I think it's a big distractor. And with them not having Jalen Waller out there, I think Xavier Howard didn't play. It was a recipe for disaster, even though they was in the 305. But Buffalo didn't do much on offense. I can tell you that right now. They needed a punt return to help them out. They just figured out a way to win, bro. That was it.
That's it right there. That punt return is what did it, and those turnovers that you mentioned. You know, it was like Miami wasn't hungry enough. I don't care what injuries that you have. Buffalo did not outperform you on offense. Buffalo was not suffocating on defense. So you have no excuse as to why you did not have the ability to move the ball up and down the field. Tyreek was healthy enough. Your run game seemed like it had pockets where it was successful. So they had no excuse.
A-Chain was running that ball, boy. A-Chain had a good game.
So they had no excuse.
It looked better, man. I mean, I think their problem was more on the defensive side of the ball than it was. I mean, special teams screwed them. But again, we already talked about it. If you can get, as much as I love Tua, all you got to do is throw Tua timing off. Tua is a timing guy. Tua don't throw the ball to the receiver. Tua throws the ball to where the receiver's supposed to be. And if you can jam any of those receivers, and that's what pissed me off with the Cowboys, we allowed Waddle and Tyreek Hill free release. Man, all you got to do is jam them guys a little bit. Throw that timing off, and 9 times out of 10, there's going to be a ball sitting there waiting because that's Tua know where his receiver's supposed to be. That's the difference between him and Jalen. Jalen, you got to be wide open for Jalen to throw the ball to you. Tua, he throws the spots, and that's what happened.
No, you're right. You're right. And I think this game for Miami was such a confidence builder or a confidence crusher for them to where if they were able to secure the number 2 seed, they could have actually competed for the AFC title. Now, they could easily lose this game this weekend going into Kansas City, and most likely will lose this game this weekend because you need all of your horses when you go into a cold area city, and the temperature probably going to be below 0, or wind chill factor will be below 0. So they've gone from sugar to it real quick, right? You would think that they got some sugar cane and decided to mail it in. So I just don't know. So let's move on to the most unintriguing game of the weekend, but we kind of figured this game was going to be a statement game, and it ended up being a statement game. But your Cowboys, they won and won impressively. Sir, I applaud y'all.
Look, man, we had to go ahead and do what no other team did, and that was get another coach fired. That's what we had to do. They've been talking about it all year, but we had to go ahead and seal the deal, baby. We had to seal the deal. And for me, I was definitely expecting for us to go in there and beat the Redskins, man. But, we've been having problems with these away games. And for us to go there and play the way we played, and to also, what was most impressive to me, running the ball. We ran the ball. We utilized Dow as well as Pollard. And that was the most impressive thing to me. As well as now we can start lining Michael Parsons in the linebacker position a little bit more than just having a rushing on the edge. Because right now, man, we got safeties playing linebacker. That's why teams been gashing us. And so Michael Pollard, we had Michael Parsons lining up in the linebacker positions on quite a few times too, which helps with the running game because we don't have line. We lost a couple of guys. Hell, we just let one go because he tested positive for marijuana. The second joke, that's the thing that I just don't understand, man. But you get paid all this money and you can't stop smoking weed. It kills me, man. It kills me. And people can say, well, it's legal and all this other bull crap. Give me that money. Man, I stopped drinking. I stopped smoking weed and whatever else you asked me to stop doing.
Man. So what I heard you say is you went in the closet and got your Negatodamas crystal ball out and predicted what the Dallas Cowboys going to do this weekend against the Green Bay Packers. I saw in the comments, Troy said that Cowboys fans are nervous about playing Green Bay. We'll talk about that in a little bit.
Just the fact that you use Troy's name, it discredits the whole conversation.
So as soon as I said Troy, unless it was City of,
I didn't get nothing else out of Troy.
All right. No, but on the flip side, The Cowboys got it. We're gonna talk about them in a little bit, but I wanted to give Riverboat Ron and the Washington Commanders a little bit of closure. Ron Rivera was fired early Monday morning, as you mentioned, ending his tenure as the Washington Commanders head coach. I give him a old tip of the hat and hand salute for the job that he did for the time that he was in Washington, with the amount of turmoil that the team and him personally had to endure with his cancer diagnosis and treatment, and the ultimate sale of the team, new ownership coming in. He knew that unless his team went to the playoffs, he was most likely going to lose his job. And hey, they went 4-13, bro. Come on. So congratulations on, a successful career. I don't know whether or not he's going to retire and chillax with the family, or he's going to, look for another job. But both he and Eric B. Enemy will be different places next year. I hope Eric B. Enemy is down there in hot Atlanta and fix that hot mess they got down there. So best wishes to both of them, for the team itself and for the fans. Hopefully next year y'all will have a better product on the field and y'all will be more of a, topic of conversation, and instead of a punchline.
They just gonna be the same Commodores
instead of a punchline. All right. Moving on, man, to the total collapse of the Philadelphia Eagles. What the world is going on in brotherly love? Where is the brotherly love?
Did I not prognosticate? What I tell you, I said they was gonna win in Philly. Told you they was gonna go to New York and lose this game. Hey man, if I tell you a duck is a truck, shut the hell up and hook the duck up. Man, I loved it. I know Adrian on here right now, and I know he probably soaking right now, man. But I knew it, man. That team has collapsed. I don't know what's going on. We can talk about injuries all you want to. Them jokers, they just don't look like they even want to be there no more.
Yeah. They may be a tough out, right, for Tampa Bay. If they are able to survive Tampa Bay, whoever they play next is going to blow them out, whether it's San Francisco or Dallas, or whoever they end up playing in the divisional round. The Eagles have mailed it in. They've totally collapsed. They've lost A.J. Brown. I don't know what to say about them. The Giants are the Giants, and, they get what they get because they did it to themselves. Let's move on to
Let's move on. They coming up on the rough side of the mountain. That's who in the hell left the gates open? That commercial used to come on every morning on BET, man. Go ahead, Drew. You can go to the next game, man. They wild in the comments tonight, man. They wild in the comments tonight.
Yeah. All right, man. Let's move on to them Texans. Surprise, surprise, surprise. We both picked the Texans to win.
Yeah.
We knew that they were going up against another coast team who were just as good as them. Both teetering on making that playoff push or that having that success over the hump. We both knew that thought they were going to win. Jacksonville's collapse was, teetering. You could have gone either way. But how surprised are you that in his and their rookie year, both DeMeco Ryan, the real rookie head coach, and the rookie quarterback, C.J. Stroud, have led H-Town, Super Soul City, back to the playoffs in his very first year?
I think DeMeco Ryan, if he ain't the coach of the year, he gonna be at the top of the list because of what he did. Because nobody saw the Texans. Everybody saw the Texans as being that team that was probably going to be in a rebuild phase, but they looking at probably having the offensive and the defensive rookie of the year as well as the coach of the year on this team. But I would tell you, it wasn't easy for him in that game. The coaches happened to miss a field goal because them jokers this game could have went another route. But CJ been playing all year, man. He ain't been playing like no rookie. And the crazy part about it is he don't have no big name players over there on that offense, but they done figured out a way. Nico Collins to emerge as one of the top receivers, especially after Tank Dell got hurt. He got Dalton Schultz over there doing his thing. The running game, man. And I just think it's because of the coach. People, I tell people all the time, coaching make a difference. And when people buy into what you're doing, they'll do whatever they got to do. Just to give your team a plug, when teams don't like their coach, they just run their own play. The hell with the play that the coach sent in, and I'm gonna leave that there. I'll let Drew out. I mean, I know he's gonna figure out a way to get the Saints in, so I just thought I'd do it for you.
You got it. So, with that being said, before I talk about the success of the Houston Texans, actually, I'm gonna talk about them first. I want to congratulate both the entire organization, and as CJ Stroud has said throughout this week in every interview, is that the atmosphere, and like you said, when you have a coaching staff and an organization that supports the team and supports the players, and the players feel like they are heard and their input is valued, then of course they're going to give that coach everything that they have. And yes, we said at the very beginning of the season, look out for the Houston Texans in 2025. Nobody thought in 2023 that the Houston Texans was going to be like, nah, we're not coming. We are here. And we are here to stake a claim that we are the not only new kings of the South, but we are going to be competing for the title of AFC champ, not only with the Kansas Cities of the world or the Cincinnatis or the Baltimores or the Buffaloes. Houston has thrown its name into the hat this year. So congratulations to them, Coach. You had AR-15 go down at the very beginning of the year. You were lucky, to be honest. You overperformed yourself to be where you were. The game that I want to talk about is the Jacksonville Jaguars, because we're going to talk about the Texans in a little bit more. The collapse that we had with the Philadelphia Eagles, we had with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Man, what happened to Doug Peterson and Goldilocks, Trevor Lawrence and Travis Etienne, Calvin Ridley, and all of that offensive firepower that we was talking about and touting that they had down there in Duval County? Man, what happened?
Derrick Henry. Man, somebody must have made Derrick Henry mad and told him that he was over the hill, or maybe he just wanted to put on his highlight reel. But man, Derrick, boy, did he have a time this weekend. That boy looked like the Derrick Henry old, man. And with all those injuries that Jacksonville got over there, again, everybody got injured, so I don't want to make it an excuse, but it is. Man, Derrick Henry's out there running that ball, boy, like a young Derrick, like King Henry was out there, straight arming, running them long runs and stuff down the field. That's what got them this weekend, bro. That's what knocked them out the playoffs. Yeah, all they had to do was win, and they was in.
Yes, sir. And this is the second time that this has happened to the Jacksonville Jaguars, if I'm not mistaken, or it happened with them, with Tennessee, if I'm not mistaken, a couple of years back. Either way, the Jaguars sorely, surely, and completely disappointed every Duval County resident, every Jaguars fan, because they had the South in their hands at midseason. Got it? You had a few injuries, but still, you have a Super Bowl winning coach who has the ability to manage a team with one of the supposedly top 6 physically talented quarterbacks in the league with weapons on the outside and in the run game. You had no excuse. So,
and you played against Tannehill.
And you lost to Tannehill, who tried to give you the game. He tried to give you the game, and y'all still gave it away. But hey, It is what it is. As they
Always
say,
next year. Always next year.
We'll see you in 2024 when Hard Knocks does the Jacksonville Jaguars. So let us make the transition to the 14 teams that are actually still in the big dance. We got some good matchups this weekend, man. And let us start at the very top of everybody's mind because, as you say, this is America's team. San Francisco, or Dallas and Green Bay have a very good and competitive recent playoff history, where both have sent each other home at key moments in recent history. Dallas is favorite. Y'all are at home. Y'all have won 16 straight. Y'all score 40 points a game when you're at the house. Jordan Love is still a rookie quarterback, even though he's been in the league for 33 years, it seems, sitting behind Aaron Rodgers. Green Bay don't have a shot. But if you were a objective, which I'm not saying that you're not, non-Dallas fan, and you wanted to talk about how does Green Bay win this game, talk to me for a couple minutes as to how does Green Bay win this game.
Run the ball. I mean, where the Cowboy has seemed to be an area where they struggle with throughout the season, run the ball. Most of the teams that's been successful against the Cowboys, if you go watch the games, they was able to run the ball. The Buffalo Bills ran all over the Cowboys. Arizona was able to run against the Cowboys. The Eagles didn't have a big passing game. Swift was able to run against the Cowboys. If you are able to run that ball, keep Dak Prescott off of the field, then you got a chance. That's my thing. And the other piece is being able to take advantage of an injured Dallas Cowboy offensive line. You can get pressure on Dak, because what we've also seen when Dak get a little pressure on him, he makes some ill-advised throws sometimes. So if they want a chance, and you said it, man, I was at 2 of those playoff games and we lost them, but Aaron Rodgers was on the other side of that ball with like a minute and some left on the clock. And so the landscape is different now. You got Jordan Love, you got a whole bunch of young offensive people over there. But if they want to win, they better figure out how to get Aaron Jones cooking and get Dak off the field. Keep Dak off the field. If that answered your question.
Yeah. And you say focus on Aaron Jones and have that 1-2 punch with him and Dillon. But we've had a whole year of Matt LaFleur kind of easing Jordan Love into the fold, right? And he has his receivers on the outside, and that defense is, they're kind of middle of the road. So you say take advantage of the Dallas offensive line and kind of put some pressure on Dak. So how on the other side of the ball, looking at what Green Bay has brought into the playoffs, how they got to the playoffs, and whether or not they should even be in the playoffs, truth be told, right? They made it, got it, they earned it, but they beat a very good Chicago team to get in. That wasn't a cakewalk, even though Chicago ended up being 7-10. Chicago could have easily gone into Green Bay and Lambeau Field and ended their season. So it's not like Green Bay is an offensive juggernaut at this point in the year. How does Dak ensure that by the middle of the third quarter, Dallas is cruising and this game is not even in question?
Again, what I said earlier in the game, first of all, do what we did this past week against the Redskins. Run the ball with Dow as well as with Pollard. Get Pollard to the outside. Rico Dow was blasting them in the middle. Distribute the ball again to the tight ends. And I want Cook to have a big game. CD gonna do what CD do because we throw the ball to CD 1,000 times. But this past week we got that ball in Cook's hands quite a few times, twice into the end zone. We got the ball in the Pendershot hands as well as Ferguson's hands. We even got you know what the other piece I would like to see the guy that's been getting paid to play all season, and we really only see maybe twice, that's Gallup. I don't even know what he do, but I think if we can get Gallup in the field and stretch the field with Gallup maybe once, or include Devontae Turpin a little bit more than just kick returns. The beginning of the season, we actually had Devontae Turpin on the offense. He can stretch it. He can as well stretch the defense out. I just think, man, and Dak need to run some more. When the opportunity presents itself, run the ball.
So do you believe we should change who we are in the concept to where, you know, you go with you dance with the one that brought you, and believe that, hey, Dak is the leading passer for the NFL. If we are a very good passing team at this point, why should we focus on the run? And I got it. It's going to say it's going to open up the pass. But if we are having some, issues establishing the run early on, do we go to Dak and say, all right, Mike, you've carried us the entire year. We're going to put it on your shoulders. Go get us a dub.
My problem is, man, is that we have never we abandoned the run. If you ask me, we abandoned the run too soon. I just feel like when you abandon the run too soon, now you're passing the ball, then you getting them quick 3 and outs. You put your defense out there on the field, they get tired. I don't care how good your defense is. If you play it a whole bunch of times, them jokers get tired, man. And that helps the other team. I just think that by being able to have a good mix of running and passing the ball, everything don't have to be down the field. And which we don't throw a lot of balls down the field. Really, if I'm Green Bay, I'm playing the slant, because that's what we do with most teams. We've been hitting CD Lamb all season with the slant, bro. I ain't gonna lie, I'd be like Diggs or Bland, and I jump it. I'm gonna take my chances, but that's where we really been getting teams at. But for me, I want to run the ball some. I want my defense to be a little bit fresh, and that's what we gonna get in trouble if we going 3 and out.
All right. Well, we definitely gonna give this game a lot more attention come Friday night. We'll dig into what we actually think is going to happen, whether or not Jordan Love is actually going to be able to have a little bit of offensive success against a Dallas team that, when they apply pressure and they don't get caught in man-to-man situations where the receivers can take advantage long-term or down the field, then they are very successful. And whether or not Jordan's escapability, all right, is able to help Green Bay, or whether or not Dallas is just too good at this point in the season. Moving on to a team that nobody thought was actually still going to be playing in January. The Pittsburgh Steelers are traveling to the Buffalo Bills against the hottest team in the NFL, many people think. You think Pittsburgh? Well, no. Let me ask this question. Based off what you've seen the Pittsburgh Steelers do with Mason Rudolph leading the offense the past 3 to 4 weeks, and the offensive explosion that they've had, actually scoring 30 points a couple of games, you think that they can actually transfer to Pittsburgh and have the same type of success? And obviously they're going to have to, but how do they do it against that Buffalo defense?
Force Josh Allen. You know, Josh Allen is turnover prone. Hell, he threw 2 interceptions this past weekend, man. All you got to do is put pressure on Josh Allen. Josh Allen, I mean, Mike Sanders on here, I love him to death. He swears Josh Allen is supposed to be the MVP this year, and I don't know what news he been looking at, some fake news or something somewhere, because Josh Allen ain't even been in MVP consideration. But for the Steelers to do, run the ball with them 2 running backs like they've been doing successfully. Let Rudolph do what he been doing, not losing the game for them. Put pressure on Josh Allen. Josh Allen will give you the game. This is not like it's going to be, where you getting 42 touchdowns from? Josh Allen don't have no 42. Dak leads the league in touchdowns. I don't know where you get your statistics from, but they are
accounted for.
Wrong.
He's accounted for both passing.
I don't know where he getting the statistics from, man. But anyway, Josh Allen would get a game away to you. He been trying to give games away this season. And if the Steelers want to win this game, run that ball with Warren and with Najee like they've been doing the last couple of games. Rudolph is definitely the guy to go in there because everybody else that they didn't put in there since Pickett got hurt sucks. And I guarantee you, put pressure on Josh Allen, he gonna give you at least 1 or two interceptions.
You said a lot.
Does he count? Miles say he count interceptions. He might have 42 interceptions. He damn sure don't have no 42 touchdowns.
No, I said that the Buffalo Bills are the scariest team in the league because they've beaten a lot of very good teams in the past 6-7 weeks. The Pittsburgh Steelers, we've talked about how of a roller coaster of a season that they've had because of their lackluster offense and getting rid of the offensive coordinator, benching the starting quarterback because of an injury, and then him losing his job once he's fully healed, to Mason Rudolph, who has been there for several years, but is nobody's second, third, or even fourth option, to be truthfully honest, and is on a hot streak right now. And whether or not he can ride that wave, I tell you, when we come to Friday night, this is probably going to be the toughest game to pick for the exact reason that you just said. Josh Allen is capable of giving you a turnover or two. Pittsburgh has a very, very, very good defense. Some would say a swarming defense, but they've lost TJ Watt, quite possibly the defensive player of the year. So that is going to have an impact. And whether or not losing Watt is going to hurt them, I would say yes. So we shall see whether or not that defensive pressure will make a difference. But you brought up some excellent points, man, about whether or not the Steelers have a shot. And if they have a shot, that is the way to do it, because you can't depend on the offense to outscore.
Yeah.
Miami traveling to Kansas City. They shouldn't even be traveling at this point, but they did it to themselves. The Tyreek going back to the scene of the crime where he think he made Patrick Mahomes famous, and Patrick Mahomes said, "Nah, little man, I made you famous." But no, the fastest player in the NFL going back to where he got it all started. You think Kansas City, the home team, they're going to be favored, but they still don't know how to catch the ball. How do they win the game against a Miami team who seems to be hurt and shouldn't even be there at this point?
Kansas City got to take advantage of one. They got to take advantage of the fact that Miami is hurt. They got to take advantage of opportunities that Miami will present. We know Miami will give up at least 1 or 2 turnovers, probably because of a pass or whatever. But I think the difference in this game, honestly, is not the two teams, is where it's being played at. The weather is going to be a huge factor because of all those. Even if some of those guys can play for Miami, bro, you and I both know what it feels like to have arthritis out there. You ain't being able to play. The way they move it in Duval County, they ain't going to be able to move in Kansas City like that. And that's going to be the deciding factor, which also gets off into the running game. Both teams have a great running game. Pacheco, man, that dude is a beast. A-Train, we already know what he can do. I don't know if whatever the guy name is coming back to play. I think he's still hurt as well, the one that A-Train is running for. But I just think the location is what's hurt Miami. If you had me, I'd do a little bit more research, but that weather ain't gonna be good for the Miami players.
Right. And if I'm looking at it from the Miami perspective and Mike McDaniel, and what do I need to do to ensure that we can travel to Kansas City, knowing that the weather is going to be a factor, like we mentioned, probably 0 degrees or 0 degree wind chill, whether or not it's wet or whether or not it's snowy, icy. And yes, the run game is going to be a factor. So if I'm Miami and if I have A-Check and Mozart coming back, then I'm going to depend on that heavily. And I'm going to use the short pass game with my tight ends and my backs coming across the middle and these swing passes as well as those screen passes to ensure that I keep Patrick Mahomes off the field. The same weather that affects Miami is going to affect Kansas City. Kansas City has had the Ipsies this entire year, man, as it pertains to being able to catch the ball. And as you mentioned, when it get cold, my fingers get numb. And I already got issues catching the ball, and the ball gets harder. Add all of those things together. we're going to see a very tight game, in my opinion, because the weather is going to limit both teams' ability to have offensive success. And I think the defense is going to be the difference maker or special teams play. But we'll see. The most exciting game of the weekend, I think, of all of the games, to be honest, is the Browns traveling down to H-Town. Bruh. This is the one that's going to have everybody's attention because both of these teams have a legitimate Cinderella story. Both of these teams could sneakily make it to the AFC Championship game. The Browns possibly could even sneak in and make it to the Super Bowl if everything lines up with Mr. Flacco because they have a defense that travels. But guess what? Houston got a team, bro. What you think, man? What does the home team need to do against a very good Browns defense to win?
Drew, I'm gonna be honest, man. The Browns is not a team that I'm gonna be as a Cowboy fan. Is not a team that I would want to line up against right now. Them jokers right now. Joe Flacco looked better now than he did when he was a Super Bowl winner with the Baltimore Ravens. If you ask me, it's like his second chapter. I mean, he is doing his thing out there. I mean, Amari Cooper, you already know they fresh. They had a chance to sit all their players out this week while the Texans had to put players out there and some of them got hurt. What the Texans got to do, man, they got to figure out how to get to Flacco because trust and believe the Browns gonna figure out a way to get to C.J. Stroud. I can tell you that right now with one of the top defensive players in the game, another guy that's in the running for defensive player of the year. Trust and believe, he gonna be meeting him at the water cooler. The Texans got to figure out one. They got to actually, believe it or not, Cooper is not Flacco's number one receiver. It's actually the tight end. That's who we've been killing people with this year. So they got to figure out how to stop him. And the Browns, they running game is going to be an X factor. As much as Kareem Hunt and Ford, they've been doing so. If they can stop that, man, the Texans got a valid chance, man. But I wouldn't want to be lined up in front of the Browns right now, man. And because what we said, defense travels, and this defense travels right here.
Yes, sir, man. Offense wins games, but defense wins championships. And when Deshaun Watson went down, we was like, oh, Lord, the Browns done lost the day. They have no chance. And then Nick Chubb went down. Was like, oh, my goodness, they are so toast. They've only gone 11-5 and gave away that last game against the Bengals with Joe Flacco, who, like you said, is playing better than he was when he was in his prime with Baltimore because now he is carefree. I'm just happy to be here.
Yeah. They said the only reason why the Bengals
juice because my arm is rested and
that's it. That's the only reason why the Bengals won, man. That's the only reason why they won because they set them guys out.
Yeah, but we'll see, man. And you don't want to see the Browns, but I mentioned in a promo that there are teams of destiny at times, right? And it just seems that the Houston Texans have that it factor. You can't put your finger on it because they don't have any big name players. They don't have any dominating schemes to where they're suffocating either on defense or ability to separate on offense. But some way, somehow, they just walk out at the end of the day with a dub, with a rookie head coach, again, who is as seasoned as you want, still has the fire, and has the voice to have an impact in the locker room immediately. You couple that with a young quarterback who is fearless, who plays well beyond his years, and fits perfectly like a glove, they would say, in a system that is made perfectly for them. Got it? Joe Flacco is on fire. The Browns have a dominating and suffocating defense, but Houston is at home. And like you said, home field advantage is going to make a difference. Just like it's going to make a difference in Kansas City, it's going to make a difference down there in H-Town. So we shall see whether or not the Browns can travel or whether or not Houston is truly that team of destiny come Friday when we do our predictions. The Rams, man, going up to Detroit. The Matthew Stafford Welcome Back Home Bowl.
Scary.
That's a scary team, right? They've lost one game in a matter of almost 2 months, and that one game was to the Baltimore Ravens in overtime.
Scary.
Detroit's good though, man. How does Detroit win at home?
Man, Detroit. Again, the Rams set all their players out this past week. Detroit thought why they thought they was gonna get that number 2 seed. I really don't know, but they played his players, and he lost some key players this past weekend. Detroit got to run the ball, and they got to figure out how to get the match draft and how to slow down Puka Nacua, Williams, and daggone, I think I said his name right, and Cup, man. But this game is not gonna be this probably gonna be one of the toughest games of the weekend right here. This ain't gonna be no cake and even though Detroit got home field advantage in this game, I guarantee it's gonna be more people that root for Stratford than they're gonna be rooting for golf.
Yeah, I feel you, man. I'm sorry, Michael Sanders. We losing out to Keith Sweat, dog. But it is what it is. No, on this game, this is the Sunday night game, right? Prime time Sunday night, 8:30, 8:15 Sunday night after all of the games have happened on the day. The Rams have been one of the hottest teams in the NFL, and they've only lost, like I mentioned, to Baltimore. But so have the Detroit Lions, and this seems to be their year. They are the team of destiny that I mentioned earlier. They feel they got robbed in a loss to Dallas. They feel they are good enough to be the number 2 seed. They feel like they've earned where they are as the 3 seed, definitely. So they're definitely not afraid afraid of a high-powered Rams team coming in into their hometown. How do they win? Dependent heavily on the run, as you mentioned. And you got it. I got it. They lost some key players because they played everyone last weekend. But at the same time, we have the ability to apply pressure, and we know Matthew Stafford's weaknesses because we trained Matthew Stafford into the phenomenal quarterback that he thinks himself that he is. So I'm pretty sure Dan Campbell and the entire defense is going to give Matthew Stafford all of the business that he wants.
They know golf. They know golf tendencies too. That's where he came from. If Detroit want to win this game, they need to keep the ball in David Montgomery and Gibbs' hands because I don't know how severe St. Brown is hurt, but he was grabbing the ribs the whole fourth quarter. Basically, they lost Laporta. And I think who was it? Reynolds got hurt, man. Yeah. They took some key injuries this weekend, man. Yeah. If they want to keep Stafford off the field, keep the ball in Gibbs and Montgomery's hand.
Yeah, you're right. And losing Laporta, that tight end, is quite possibly the one that may end up doing them in if anything does do him. All right, and finishing off wild card weekend, Monday Night Football, the aforementioned Philadelphia Eagles, who have seemed to imploded upon themselves, traveling down to Tampa Bay, going against Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the champions of the lowly NFC South. With Tampa Bay being a suspect division champ, sneaking into the playoffs at 9-8 after beating Carolina 9-0 on Sunday, going against the Philadelphia Eagles, who can't seem to spell W or find a victory. Who do you think has a better opportunity, and what does that team that has the better opportunity need to do to ensure that they close the door by the third quarter?
Drew, so I don't want to give my predictions because we supposed to say that till Friday. Right. But what I will say, man, the Eagles, I don't want to completely just cancel the Eagles out yet. They didn't just win 10 games by happenstance, man. I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers performance this past weekend to probably one of the worst teams in the league. It gives me pause that they was only able to put up 9 points against the Panthers. So, I mean, this game right here is not going to be one of those easy picks, if you ask me, man, because I think I seen Mike say, yeah, Jalen Hurts did hurt his cussing finger on his throwing hand. But they popped that thing back in there. This is not going to be an easy game, but I think AJ Brown won't be playing in this game. I think he out for this game. So that's going to be a huge thing. I think the Eagles got to run the ball, man. They got to figure out how to get Swift more carries, and because you don't know which Baker Mayfield going to show up on the field. So
yeah,
that's my take.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. This is going to be a difficult game to pick because both teams are hobbling into the playoffs, as we mentioned. This is the last game of the weekend on Monday Night Football, but the least most exciting game of the weekend as well, because both of these teams, you just don't know which one you're going to get, because it's like Forrest said, at this point, Philadelphia. Yeah, hey, bro, at this point, Philadelphia's offense is just as trash as their defense. So you don't know whether or not losing A.J. Brown is going to be that much of a hindrance, whether or not Jalen's finger is going to affect his passing ability. Like you said, you don't know which Baker Mayfield you're going to get. So who wins this game? I don't know. And to be honest, the winner of this game is lucky, because they get to play for an extra week, but they'll definitely be the underdog against whoever they play, whether it be Dallas or San Fran. And I look forward to them losing in the divisional round. So I wouldn't be surprised if this game's turned into another 9-6 defensive. No, because both defenses are not that good. So we'll see. Any parting shots, man, as we have come to the top of the hour, ladies and gentlemen?
Shots, man. That hour went by fast, man. As always, man, I just want to thank everybody. Man, we'd have made it through a whole college football season. Here it is, we'd have made it to the playoffs, and we would have been able to go this far and go this long if it weren't for all the people that continue to jump on here every week, man. We truly appreciate y'all. And I look forward to seeing y'all on Friday. Make sure that y'all share and continue to share. And I see a lot of people keep on sharing our page, but just, keep on showing up like y'all been doing, man. Keep that chat box going. I love it, and I appreciate y'all, and I'll see y'all on Friday.
Yes, sir. I echo all of those sentiments and comments. We are here, ladies and gentlemen. The discussion started way back in early September about the 2023 playoffs and what teams that we thought were going to make it to the playoffs and ultimately make it to the Super Bowl. As Griff mentioned, the teams that we thought were going to be here, such as the Cincinnati Bengals, are not here. Teams that we think or thought were not going to be here, such as the Green Bay Packers, thinking that they were going to be in rebuilding mode, or in the playoffs. So this makes for an exciting 2023 playoffs. The Kansas City Chiefs are no longer the king of the hill. They're just there trying to make it to the next round. And we're going to see. Come Friday night, we're going to dig deep into what we think about the playoffs and how it will unfold. It was an exciting year on college football for me, man. My spirits got crushed coming right out of the gate. LSU losing on opening weekend, but ended up having a phenomenal season, taking a couple of L's against two other good teams in the SEC in Alabama and Ole Miss. But Jaden Daniels showed why he's the best quarterback in the college football arena this year, and I congratulate him on winning the Heisman Trophy. See him on Sunday in the NFL. So my last hoorah to LSU this year. I know that Alabama outperformed what your expectations were and made it to the Final Four, which is what they usually are in. So congratulations to them and your fan base. And I'm looking forward to these next 4 weeks. And like you mentioned, it is all because of the RoundTable audience. So thank you to each and every one of you. for the constant support, the feedback, the guidance, the correction when either Griff or myself step on it or put our foots in our mouth. So we're going to see what the Cowboys look like because, bruh, you know they're going to be the topic of conversation. Good, bad, or indifferent. Y'all strap on, as they would say. Let's go. The playoffs are here. Looking forward to it. Y'all have a safe and blessed week. Do something nice for yourself. Do something nice for your family. And please do something nice for someone you don't even know because, yes, it is a crazy world out there. Y'all be breezy.